The challenge is massive, the opportunity is even bigger. The question isn't whether Brazil will change. The question is, will that change come fast enough for people who need it the most? This is Brazil's human rights story, and it's still being written. Good evening, everyone. Today I will talk about human rights in Brazil, a nation that covers almost half of Latin America. For context, Latin America predominantly refers to countries in Southern America and beyond, where Romance languages, derived from Vulgar Latin, are spoken. Brazil's language, Portuguese, reflects its colonial history, a period that shaped its human rights challenges and achievements. Brazil's journey through democracy and martial law has heavily influenced its human rights landscape. After decades of military dictatorship from 1964 to 1985, the country transitioned into democracy. This brought constitutional protections, granting a wide range of civil, political, and social rights. Yet, despite these protections, Brazil faces profound challenges in upholding human rights today. One significant issue is racism. Afro Brazilians, who make up a large portion of the population, face systemic disparities, discrimination, from limited job opportunities to disparities in education. Police brutality exacerbates this injustice. According to Human Rights Watch's 2023 report, over 6,000 people annually die due to police violence, a shocking statistic that highlights the scale of extrajudicial killings. Many of these disproportionately affect black and marginalized communities. Brazil also struggles with environmental and indigenous rights. As the Amazon rainforest faced relentless deforestation, indigenous communities suffer forced displacement. Efforts to recognize Quilombola territories, lands of Afro Brazilian communities descended from escaped slaves, are progressing too slowly, leaving these groups vulnerable to land grabs and violence. Additionally, violence against women remains a pressing concern. Brazil has one of the highest rates of femicide in the world, with thousands of women killed annually due to gender based violence. Despite laws like Maria de Penha law to combat domestic violence, enforcement remains inconsistent, leaving many women unprotected. Prison conditions in Brazil are another critical issue. Overcrowding, violence, and poor sanitation plague the system, with facilities operating at 160% capacity. Inmates, many of whom await trial, endure inhumane conditions, further highlighting systemic inequities in the justice system. Corruption undermines these efforts to address human rights abuses. Widespread graft erodes public trust in institutions, delays critical reforms, and perpetuates inequality. Recent investigations, such as Operation Car Wash, expose corruption at the highest levels of governments and business, but accountability remains uneven. The media plays a double edged role in addressing these issues. On one hand, investigative journalism and documentaries spotlight injustices, empowering citizens. But on the other hand, misinformation and biased reporting can trivialize or distort human rights violations, limiting accountability. There have been some landmark cases of human rights violence that shook the conscience of the nation. For instance, in 2018 assassination of Marielle Franco, a black queer councilwoman advocating for marginalized communities, highlighted the dangers faced by human rights defenders. In another example, the Chacarazino favela police operation in 2021 resulted in 28 deaths, becoming one of the deadliest raids in Rio de Janeiro's history, sparking outrage and calls for accountability. Furthermore, the Brazilian Supreme Court suspension of Twitter, now referred as X, in 2023 to curb misinformation reflects the ongoing battle between safeguarding free speech and ensuring public safety. Despite these challenges, there have been efforts to bring change. Civil society organizations, indigenous leaders, and activists continue to fight for accountability. Brazil has seen partial victories like the Supreme Court's ruling to uphold indigenous land rights and increase international pressure to protect the Amazon. To conclude, Brazil's human rights story is one of stark contradictions, a country with progressive laws but a gap in enforcement. By amplifying voices, demanding accountability, and ensuring equal rights for all, Brazil can move closer to ideals enshrined in the Constitution. Thank you.